Thank you. Greetings to all our viewers, Kitchen Sink Issues. I was thinking of how to greet you. So I was thinking of Kissy Gang or Kissy Family. Please comment in the comment section. How shall we define ourselves? Who are we? Are we a family? Are we a gang? Who are we? Please, I want to know. And don't put this on my WhatsApp. Put it in the comment section for the video. We want to have our own identity because we are becoming a family, guys. We are a family here, and we want to be known as such. Today, after the 2 sessions that we did, an issue arose that what about roles now? Who does what? Now that you said, a woman can be the one who's more successful than the man or bring in more money than the man. And then you said, we are one, we must work together in agreement. So now who does what in that marriage? I find this very, very interesting. Honestly, I didn't find a scripture that I could pin the conversation on. And so we're just going to get on with the conversation. The ones that kept coming, I kept having questions about. But look, we are relaxed. We're just talking here. And you should do the same. Sit down and let's just get talking. Who does what in marriage? Who cooks, for example? Who cleans? Who raises the children? How about security and providing for the family? Who's the leader in our marriage? Those are some of the questions that people are throwing. And a lot of these are governed by how you started out. So it helps a lot when any relationship is started formally and people sit down and they discuss some of these things. But many a times, in Shona tinoti vakazongozoroka vamumba, vamwe vakatopinda nepawindow vamwe neparoof chaipo ungodzwa kuti chiti marriage yatoko. Izvozvo ndo zvine madynamics anonetsa, and that can bring challenges to any relationship. But when things are processed and well thought out, you can actually engage in a conversation even before you say I do, to say, okay, so when we are together as husband and wife, who's going to be doing what when we come together? I think it's a very interesting conversation. I think that without assigning any gender, responsibilities, but there are things that come naturally with men and there are things that sometimes come naturally for women. This is not to say that there are no things that, are interchangeable. So it's not, our conversation is not restricted. It's not gender instructed conversation. We're just discussing life as it happens for 2 young people who are starting out together as husband and wife. Who does what? Very interesting. We can start very simple. Who cooks? I'm seeing in our cultural setup many more men who are cooking and cooking well. Is there any problem with that? I don't think so. As long as the two of you are in agreement. I know culturally that role is assigned to a woman, but if a man knows their game, they know how to cook and they do it well, you're most welcome to do it. However, it's on a long-term basis. Sometimes you find that the wife has to, put up a good game and take on that responsibility as theirs. It's easier, long-term. In the short-term, the honeymoon phase, sure, the guy can chef it up, but it usually doesn't last long. I mean, I've been at it for 35, going 36 years now, and he does cook here and there, but long-term, I cook. I'm not saying so cook because I cook. I'm just telling you what I do and what we found easier. You can decide for yourselves. Cleaning. I think cleaning is a big one. Guys, cleaning we need to share. I'm also talking to myself. It's easier when you share that because you are sharing this space, and when the both of you clean, you find you take care of that space together well. Whereas if only one person is cleaning, the other person sometimes might have the tendency to be the one to dirty that place. So cleaning, I honestly think people can share. And I find that sometimes other people, they may not necessarily be found cleaning the kitchen, for example, but they care about the bathrooms. They will clean those bathrooms and they are finicky about that space. Go ahead and do it. It's good for you to know that I like to cook in a clean kitchen. I will clean the kitchen and I will do it thoroughly. And if a man says, my space is the bathroom, please, with all pleasure, go ahead and do it. But ultimately, it's another responsibility that leans heavily towards the woman naturally, but that doesn't stop men from cleaning, particularly heavy duty cleaning, like, when you're doing spring cleaning, the windows that are high up, it would help if a man can assist. If you do not agree with me, it's okay. Just put your comments in the comment section and tell me who should be cleaning in our houses. And then we move on to security. We must make sure that the doors are closed, the windows are shut, and security is tight for the family. Honestly, I think it's another aspect where it is a shared responsibility, but by and large, Baba, please wake up, make sure the family is secure. You can't then say, but no, there's no but about it. Make sure the windows are closed, make sure the doors are locked, make sure that security around your family is tight. You are responsible for it, even though the woman can help. That's my take. I think the woman can help and can do a lot, but ultimately this one leans heavily towards the man. I'm imagining people bombarding me on these ones. What do you mean? It leans heavily towards men, because even the physicality of a man, you are built stronger than a woman. So please make sure that you provide security for the family. And this is not just the physical security, by the way, even psychological security for the family, ensuring that you safeguard, the mental wellness of the family. They are not abused. Your family is not abused, not by yourself and not by the in-laws or any other people. You safeguard for the security of the family. Spiritually, you safeguard for the security. You are the gatekeeper for this family. You stay at the gate, making sure you know who comes in, who goes out in your family, because you are the chief security officer for the family. And I think it works better when people discuss these things. When a man is going about this role, that's exactly what he is doing. When he is saying, where are the keys? We know he's looking for those keys, because he's the chief security officer. That's one thing that I've learned over the years, actually, about keys. You can't keep losing the keys. And it happens when people keep changing where they keep the keys. Make sure there is a designated place where you keep the keys. And when you know that the chief security officer is the husband, people can just go to sleep knowing the chief security officer will do a round and make sure that security is tight, for the family. Now, if you keep changing, you find yourselves going to bed without locking doors, because this one is thinking so and so is doing it, and the wife is doing it, and the wife is thinking the husband is doing it, and the husband is thinking the son is doing it. That's not how security works. You designate a chief security officer, and they must take that as a serious responsibility. While we are at that point, so who is the chief provider for the family? Who should be the provider for the family? This one also leans heavily towards the man. We said in the other section, a woman's bag can be much deeper and fuller than a man's bag. But that doesn't mean that the responsibility for providing for the family then falls squarely to the woman. It leans heavily to the man. Ultimately, you are the provider. You must go out hunting. You must sweat out so that the family has food on the table. The family has fees. The family has what it needs for survival. So providing for the family is a man's responsibility. And I mean, guys, I think this generation, you just are shortchanged by circumstances. We feel pity for you. In my time, in my age, it was very easy. If you do well at school, you will find a good job, you will be able to easily take care of your family. But not so in this generation. You just have to be smart at what you are doing. And side hustles are no longer for those that don't qualify for formal jobs. Everybody needs a side hustle, and not just one, two, three side hustles, so that you provide for the family. I know for myself, I came from that era where one job would suffice. But today, even in my getting older ages, I'm not old yet, I'm getting older now, I still have side hustles too. I do more than one thing, because to rely on one thing is not enough. Baba does the same. He has to have some side hustles of sorts so that we survive and so that we excel, at life together. So provision, though it leans heavily on the side of the man, but the wife comes in as a helper suitable. We work together. So we talked about cooking, cleaning, security, and provision. How about raising the children? Whose responsibility is it to raise the children? I mean, I know that I carry, the pregnancy for 9 months, and does that mean, and I breastfeed thereafter, but does that mean the responsibility to raise the child is mine and mine alone? No. This one, I don't think it leans heavily towards anybody. I think it has to be balanced. The responsibility has to be balanced. We work together at it, so that even the children don't have to take sides to say, oh no, it's daddy who cares, or oh no, it's mama who cares. It's our parents who cares for us. Our parents love us. Our parents discipline us. It's done in a balanced format. Then you raise your child with a balanced perspective to life. I believe this is a shared responsibility. And when it is done together, it works better. I mean, we are always taught that even in disciplining a child, don't show the child that only one parent is doing it. No, it's a shared responsibility. If Baba is the one disciplining, the child tries to look to me for sympathy, I stand with my husband while it is happening. Similarly, if it is me who is disciplining and the child is looking to daddy for sympathy, he must support what I'm doing, so that we put a united front. We are a united force, when raising our children. And that balance is very good for the child to grow up in a balanced perspective. Look, like I always say, you may have a different opinion about this, but I'm a very strong believer that as much as the mother will bond with their newly born, a father must also bond with their newly born. And the father has to be given responsibility to take care of a newly born baby, so that they begin right there and then to take responsibility alongside the wife. And similarly, when the child is much older, when the father is thumping down his force for leadership, the both of you must stand united while you are at it. But you know what? I stand corrected. If you think otherwise, please comment in the comment section. And then finally, who leads the family? Who is the leader in any family? In our culture, which is Shona culture, which is African culture, which is Zimbabwean culture, we are a patriarchal society. And because we are a patriarchal society, men tend to have the leadership role much more pronounced. However, you will find that embedded in some of these our cultures, like I am Manika, I come from the eastern side of Zimbabwe. The women rule, even in the Karanga culture, the women rule. They are, when they look for the head of the family, is the man, but the ruler in that family is the woman. They do so in submission. They rearrange the family life in submission, which is the meaning of submission anyway, hupatuso, rearranging, under the leadership of. And so women rule in some cultures in our nation, but the head of the family, because we are a patriarchal society, is the man, which seems to align with the word of God, which says that man is the head of the family, and Christ is the head of man, as God the Father is the head of Christ. So man heads, but we rule together, we are co-rulers as a family. And so, but one thing that I've seen also as we have lived life and observing other people, it's much smoother when a man leads the family and is heading the family successfully, showing the family direction. Even the strongest of women, they flourish under clear leadership, under clear guidance. The problem comes when the man is weak, and then you expect me to just sit down and look at you and you're not showing leadership. Then there is a problem. So one can say, okay, now Marangana, what is leadership? What does it look like? It looks like who decides where we live, who decides who we become in society, who decides who leads when it comes to money issues, security issues, like we were saying. Who leads that? Who takes leadership for the spiritual wellness of the family? It can't be the mother. It can't be the mother only. The mother will help, but it can't be her only. So it becomes very important for men to take their responsibility, and this responsibility is not to abuse. It's not abusive. It's just knowing where you want the family to go and making sure that you go where you are taking the family. When a marriage is not progressive, you are going nowhere. You are just husband and wife. There is no goals to achieve. There is no direction. No one knows where we are going. We are just here giving birth to children. That can be problematic, in the future, because even the children, they thrive with good leadership. Wife will thrive with good leadership. Husband will thrive with clarity of leadership in that family. So it becomes very, very important. Having said all this, do I then decide who does what? I don't know. I can only tell you that this one leans more to men, this one more to women, but ultimately the decision is yours. Let's have a conversation. Who does what in marriage? A lot of the responsibility can be shared. A lot of it, if not all of it, can be shared. But ultimately, each and every role has a tendency towards one or the other. And that's how that brings harmony. No one person can be leading in every aspect of the marriage. It becomes too much. It's overbearing, and you won't survive. You will burn out. Life works better when the responsibilities are shared, when help is afforded. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the comment section. I'm looking forward to receiving questions, comments, and please continue to share, subscribe, switch on the notification button. Do not forget to describe, who shall we call ourselves? Are we Kissy family? Are we Kissy gang? Are we what? What shall we call ourselves? See you next time. Thank you.